Hey guys, Cindy over at paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. We are trudging right along with Tina's mask makes, and I am on the 2 days that I'm dreading. Actually, this one's not so bad, but I think it's going to take me a little bit, so I don't know how many of these we'll get through. But today is like simple journal covers. And I am going to go through these with you, the 3 versions that she did in her video. The last one's probably going to take me half a minute, so that's probably where we'll get bogged down. But on the same token, I'm really excited to do this because I feel like this is good. I've made the comment before, and I actually have a little box of covers that I have made from Amazon packaging that are sitting waiting for pages to go in them. But neither here nor there. She used, when she did hers, she used big mailing envelopes. And then she made the comment, use whatever you have. So basically there were 3 different kinds of covers. And the first one we're going to do is she called it the hemmed one, or the finished edge one is what I usually look at it as. I am using file folders. She had boxes of these the giant mailing envelopes. I have a huge box of manila file folders that my husband brought downstairs and said, if you don't want these, I'm going to throw them out. So, I mean, what's not to love about manila file folders, right? So I'm going to use some of those because the box is huge and I have a ton of them. Now, basically what I've done with this piece, I have found, this is an old placemat that I took apart a long time ago. These were in my house. They were part of my decluttering hauls that I did where I went around my house and I just found things that I was going to get rid of. And I looked at them and I said, hey, I could use that for junk journaling. And it became part of my stash instead of going in the donation pile. So that's where this came from. Now, normally I do about a 6x9 cover. So when I close it, it would be 6x9. What I did with this one was I cut it to fit this placemat. And I cut it to go inside. I don't know if you can see that seam. There's a seam right there where it was stitched like that or whatever. There's a seam there where I took it apart, and we are basically going to use that as our fold over spot. So that's where this is going to fold over. And that's basically what these are when we say the finished edge ones. These are the ones where you glue it down and then you fold it over into your book like this. So let's go ahead and do this one. And I'm going to show you how I do it. Because mine are file folders and I have a folded center, she did not. She had flat envelopes. I'm going to do this a half at a time. Ooh, and I'm probably going to have to get another bottle and clip. Okay, have that out at the ready. And we'll take this off. I don't know how well my glue is going to behave today just because it's a little chilly in my basement. I do not have my pellet stove going. We're, conserving a little bit since it's daytime and relatively sunny outside. It's still not above freezing, but it's also not windy or anything like that. So, all right. I'm going to spread my glue. She did not do that. She just kind of put the glue on there and stuck it down, which is fine. But I have found that the glue comes through them. I've used these before. I had a whole set of these and I've used them before. As a matter of fact, I used them on this little guy. And I don't know if you can see, that's glue dots. Those dark spots in there, in the yellow, that's where glue came through the fabric. So we're going to try and avoid that if we can. So let's go ahead and... Now on this one, since we're hemming, you don't have to worry about how close to the edge you get with the glue. Being that it's chilly down here, I don't know how much how much leeway I'm going to have for the glue not totally drying up on me. So I'm going to do this relatively quick, I hope. And then I just want to smush it down so that it doesn't come through the fabric. Oops. Oops. Well, we'll hope for the best. All right, I'm going to kind of put it on here within those seam marks where I had that stitched area. I'm going to put it down within there. It seems to be sticking okay. I'm going to flip it over and kind of rub it down. And then you can try and smooth it with mine has an angled flat spot, which is what I'm using, because if I do the edge, it tends to make spots in the fabric. So I don't want to do that, but we're just trying to like smush it down into the glue and smooth it out some. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it back over. Now she did that all in one step because she just glued her entire envelope and stuck it down. Since I'm doing mine in halves. All right, so let's do this half and we'll get this one down. I will say that it means I may have like a line here that doesn't get glued right at the seam. And the only really way I know to fix that is to put glue along the edge, right along this edge. The problem is I can't really smush it. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's smush all this down. Like I said, I just don't want the glue to come through the fabric. I should just turn my pellet stove on to help with the glue spreading. All right, and then we're going to lay this down on this side. And hopefully we gave ourselves enough space on both sides. It's not exactly centered, but it'll do. I'm going to push from this side first. And then I'll turn it over. Okay. I'm just going to kind of smooth these areas out. Now, as you can see, there's still like all kinds of threads. This is from where I pulled it apart and it's still got some of the sewing threads in it. So, I mean, I can sit here and pull all these. What I'm probably going to do is do the hemming on this side and then figure out which ones still bother me, which ones still show to the point where I need to pull them. Okay, now, because I already have my fold, okay, that works out really nice. Because I already have my fold, I could, since stuff's going to get stitched there, I could separate the piece that does the fold, but I don't think I'm going to need to. This fabric's pretty thin. The other thing we're going to do is cut corners. So we're going to miter them. I'm going to go almost to the folder. And then I'm going to cut the other one at an angle. So I'm not cutting straight across. You can see I cut it at an angle and then I cut it at an angle. Okay, and I'm going to do that for all of them. Okay, so we're going to cut at an angle this way and then at an angle this way. All right. And we're going to go all the way around and do this. And this is just to get rid of any bulk that might be there when you go to fold your corners down and glue them. Okay. So you would, I'm cutting at an angle like I would if I wanted to, like if I was making an envelope or something and I always cut that top piece, those folded sides, or if I'm making a gusseted pocket, you cut that little angle in on the gusset so that the top of the gusset doesn't show. You know what I'm talking about? That's basically what I'm doing, is I'm cutting those little angles. Okay, and then you can see I have all my corners done. All right, now what we're going to do then is, now on this side of my cover, all right, so we're going to put some glue right along here. Okay, lay that down. Not that it probably needs to be laid down because it's oozing as it is, but all right. And while this doesn't necessarily matter, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. All right, and then we're going to pull this up and taut. Okay, and you're going to work it into your glue. Just pull it up and taut. All right. All the way up and taut into your glue. Okay. Now, if you have a bigger lip to work with, it's probably easier. I didn't want to make my lip too big, mostly because I was trying to get all the embroidery on the fronts and backs of the cover. So I don't want that folding into the inside. So that's why my hems are so narrow. But if you have a piece of fabric where you don't have to worry about that, where you're not worried about a certain something because it's not already cut, then you can make your hems a little bigger. And it might be easier to do this pulling thing. Okay, just pull. So you're just going to do this around all four sides. And I said that I made that comment about I could pull these sewing threads. Well, I'm probably gluing them in at this point. So I might not be able to pull them, but it's okay. So how is everybody doing? Are you, uh-oh. Is everybody, following along? You got some stuff you can make some covers out of? I collected up a whole ton of fabric. As usual, I got really ambitious. And the pile of fabric down here by my legs is ridiculous. Okay, so let's do the sides. See if I've got any. Oh my gosh, I am making such a mess over here with this glue. I have no idea. It's oozing everywhere. Okay, so let's pull this up and stick it in the glue. Oops, I forgot to smush. Okay, well, here's a good... Can you see the difference? Can you see the glue coming through the fabric? Oh, let's pull that tight so it covers that corner better. Okay, I'm going to trim these off. All right, and we'll turn it around and we'll do the other side. These are time consuming just because of the nature of what you're doing. I mean, now some of them are less time consuming than others, and this isn't, I don't think, going to be the most time consuming one. But this one is time consuming just because you have to do this around all your sides. You know, we're going to smear this one. We forgot on that side. I say we. I mean the royal we. Whatever that expression means. Okay. All right. Okay, and there you go. So here's a cover. Now this cover, because I had it fitting the the placemat, this cover happens to be a big one. This is, and it needs a lint brush. This one is 7 3/4 by 10.5. So yeah, this is for a bigger journal, but it's fun. It's kind of a soft cover. And just like with file folders, you always have this little, well, it's only on one side of this one, but you have this little expansion part where you have spots where you can fold it. If I was smart, what I would do is fold in the middle of the expansions, and then that could be the width of my spine, whatever book I decide to use. But anyway, so there's one cover, and that's the one where you wrap the hems around. Okay, the next one is kind of I went ahead and cut this. This is my 9x6. The next one is a scruffy edge. Now, when she did the scruffy edge, I will admit, all she did was glue this straight on here, and that was it. She was done. My thing about it is once you glue this down, once you glue this on here, like this, see, you get this scruffy edge all the way around the outside. But once you glue this on here, you can't wrap anything around these edges. So you're basically going to have a sandwich. And if you stitch it, that might not be a problem. But it can still open and you can see it there. What I would like to do, an extra step, I'm going to see if this is going to fit. And it is. Okay. What I would like to do, and this is, like I said, this is an extra step that she did not do, and you do not have to do. But my thought was, what if I go ahead and cover the inside with something that matches the cover, fold it around so that it folds around the card, the cover, and then glue it to my scruffy edge. Okay, and then my inside is finished. All right, this could use ironing, but I'm hoping the glue will kind of iron it. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down, and then we'll trim around our edges to get our hems. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it out like this. These threads come out of nowhere. I mean, there's threads everywhere. I don't know where they're from. Okay. And this is going to be our inside. So I need it to be inside the fold here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this whole thing down. What I may end up doing is gluing half of it and then the other half. Now, just because you're gluing doesn't mean you can't sew. It depends on whether or not you want to stick your sewing machine needle through glue. I mean, it's basically what it boils down to. This is really thin fabric, so I definitely want to do the smushing in hopes that it doesn't bleed through in weird, odd patterns. Really got to get rid of all these threads hanging around. It's not going to happen, but you know. All right, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue it to the fabric right here. I'm going to try and pull it taut everywhere. And then we'll turn it over and kind of smush it. I didn't really think about it, but I put stripes on here, and because it's stripes, you can tell that they're not like that they've been pulled all cattywampus. So I'm adding an extra step to this one just because I want to go ahead and have this piece covered back and front. The other one that we did with the hems, I usually do the hemmed part where you wrap first anyway, and then I cover the inside with whatever I'm going to cover it with, and it goes over top of the hems. So that one I don't need to cover the inside of just yet until I'm ready and I know what I'm doing with it. And the fabric isn't such that it necessarily says you have to use this in this kind of journal. So, you know. See how we did. Not too bad, I guess. The bubbles add character, yeah. This is just because I didn't iron this first. I have had fabrics where I've glued them down and they self-iron. And then I have some that are stubborn like this one and they don't want to self-iron. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to trim our edges. You don't need a ton to wrap over. So we're just going to trim all this off. Also, as you can see, I'm not real worried about the fact that the edge came out all weird. Doesn't matter. All right, so we've done our mitering. And we're just going to do the covering. I'm ready to get rid of this bottle just because it's driving me crazy. I'm going to do a nice big wide swirl because we have a nice big wide piece. And we're going to do just like we did with the other one, only now that I have so much, it folds up a lot easier. See how much easier that was? Oh, I should probably do the side, not do the side next. I should probably do the top next. I know, I've got glue drying over there. Oh, everything's sticking. All right, so we pull that up and lay it in the glue, smush it. Okay. This doesn't have to be perfect. Most of this is getting covered up. So we just need it to lay down and cover our piece. Now, the one thing you can do, because you are going to be covering the other side, is you can clean up your corners. Because my corners are coming out a little wonky. Well, some of them are. These ones down here are a little wonky. See that? So we're going to trim that off. And hopefully it'll all get covered up in the decorating, as they say. Okay, now the next step, goodness gracious, this is a messy project, guys. Or at least I'm making a mess of it. I'll say that. The next step is to put our piece down on its cover. So I'm going to get this out. Oh, this way. Okay, I'm going to get this out. And we're going to put the glue down all over it. Now, in this particular case, you may want to get as close to the edges as you can. Just because you don't have anything helping you keep this down. It's not going to wrap around, so. Now, of course, as I said before, after you've done all this, you can take it and run it through your sewing machine. I'm going to go on the fabric first because that's going from one to the other makes a mess. Well, it doesn't make a mess, but the glue bottle gets caught on the edges. So we're just going to. I don't think this fabric is thin enough that it will matter, but we're going to kind of make a good faith attempt to smudge that. And then we're going to pick this up and we're going to try and center it in our piece. just like that. Okay. I'm half wondering if I can now still iron that, since even though it's glued. I don't want to lift up because when I lift up, it peels it away and then it has to stick back down again. So, all right. So there you go. And then this one has a scruffy edge, which is kind of cool. All right. And that's my cover. And that's the inside. Now that, so there you go. Or I could flip it this way. This isn't really directional, but, and there's a nice cover all lined on the inside. Like I said, I would probably try and iron that a little bit. This would also probably get decorations and embellishments, so I'm not overly concerned about too much of this crazy. And then, like I said, this one's got a scruffy edge. So that's the other kind that she did. And I just made the modification of, I would line them first. You could also line that with paper, where you place paper on it and fold the paper around the edges and make a nice, neat paper edge. You could do that too. Now, the other journal that she did, this is where this is going to take a while, guys. All right, now, the first thing I'm going to do is cut my folder. As I told you before, I like my folders to be 6 by 9. So, since it's folded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes I'll do 6.5, but for the most part, 6 by 9 is good because a lot of my paper, the easiest thing to do, I mean, when you're using printables and all that kind of stuff, is you're folding in half an 11-inch piece of paper, which comes out to 5.5, and a 6-inch cover gives you just enough overhang. Okay, and then we're going to do 9 this way. And again, this comes from the fact that 9 inches gives you just enough overhang on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. This is where I get this from. Okay, and remember, you can make those those lace belly bands, those layered belly bands that we did before, that wrap around a page. So I hold on to those if they're good enough to hold on to, big enough to hold on to. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we're going to make what Tina affectionately called a patchwork cover. Now, this one is very similar to the one with the scruffy edge. It's similar in the fact that there wasn't really any folding over. So you're just taking patches of fabric that you feel like go together. Okay, so this one's going to be very fall-ish, as you can see. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take the outside of our fabric, our folder, and we're just going to patchwork it. So, and she even suggested you use pinking shears so that you get a cool edge on your fabrics. Most of mine are probably going to be torn. So, like that. All right. Now, the other thing is I'm one of those planner type people, so I'm probably going to lay a lot of these out and see how I like the different pieces before I go putting down like permanent stuff. Okay. And you can do overlapping. I mean, it's the sky's the limit here. So feel free to do all of the overlapping and whatnot that you want. Is that wide enough to be up there? No. I would like a piece of that in that corner, though. Well, wow. Okay. I went and upgraded the labels. They're not paper anymore. They're that weird plastic. Okay. So... Okay, so like that. All right, and then maybe we'll put some of this. I don't know if this tears. Well, kinda. It does not tear straight. That did not cut straight. Wow, Cindy. That was awful. I don't think I could have done that any awfuler. Kind of wanted that. All right. Okay, now I have this that I'm going to do some small... This didn't tear straight either, so I have... All right, and I'm going to tear another piece, and we're going to go around the back with it, like this. Okay, I haven't done any solids, so let me see about putting a piece of solid in the back. Now, this is direction. These sunflowers make it directional. So once I glue these down, if these sunflowers are here, this is the front of my book. So I have to make sure I keep that in mind. Shoot. Okay. Well, that's all right. Just go like that. And we'll get another piece of this back here. I don't know how. Oops. Snuck on there. All right, so we're going to put this down here, like that. Okay, and then again, when you're done with this, you can take it to your sewing machine and put stitches through it. But I feel like these make really fun journal covers. All right, I don't know about this one because, like I said, it doesn't tear well. Also, it doesn't cut well. Well, I shouldn't say that. These scissors are horrible. Maybe we'll pull this up like that. Stick that under there like that. Put the yellow on top. No, like it better like this. Okay. And then I was thinking another piece of the plaid, just to tie that in again. Okay, and as you can see, well, oh, there, I have some more. I was going to say, well, I don't have any more. All right, I'm going to throw these down here, and we're going to get a piece of this off. Might actually go on top, what do you think? Yeah. Okay, so basically this becomes a... I'm half tempted to take a picture of it with my phone and then refer to it, because this is going to be the rough part, guys. You know what I should do? Okay, we've got it all set out, right? This is what I'm going to do. You can borrow this method if you want. I'm going to cut another cover. And I'm basically going to take pieces off there in layers and put them on this cover. 6. So that way I don't have to... So if you have a bunch of these ready at the beginning, you can swap them out as you go. I'm going to cut this end because it has a bent spot. If you see what I mean, you can put one down, work out your pieces on it, and then take another one and kind of glue on it as you go, if that makes sense. So we have our one that we did. I'm going to need that. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel up pieces as I go. So this piece goes up in this corner. This piece goes up in this corner like this. Okay, so let's get out our glue. We're going to go across. Okay, I'm going to stick this one down. Now, this is going to start getting messy as we start gluing over top of other fabric, but like I said, these turn out super cute, so. All right, and there we have our first piece down. Okay. Now the next piece to go down, I think, is this one, which goes across here like this. So we're going to go up along there and over along here. And hopefully, as you can see, I've got threads in here, so let's pull those out. All right, and again, I'm going to smush. And we're going to lay this one down. Oops, we go this way. That's what I glued for, so that's what we're getting. Okay, so far so good. Find my scissors. I think the next one is the sunflower one. No. Ooh. Actually, that's kind of funny. The next one is the back corner. This back here, this is what goes down next. My son is home from work and is probably going to want to come down here, so I may be taking a break. I also have to go check on dinner. I have chicken roasting. Oh no. No, 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 no. Don't do that. I need at least an idea of what's going on. All right, so we're going to put that on there. And again, I'm going to trim all these little strings because they end up underneath the little pieces of fabric. And while that's not a huge deal, the fabrics that I'm using are thin. I mean, this is like Walmart Dollar Tree fat quarters. We're not talking thick fabric here, guys. Okay, and then I'm going to put this piece down. So this is going to go across here like this. down to about there. Okay, and we're going to smush, and we're going to place. Uh-oh, it's coming through a little bit. It's okay. All right, so we got that top row one there. Now this goes down. This is my big piece in the middle. So it's going to go down on here like this. So let's go ahead and start here and go across the bottom here. And then we'll get everything down. If you're having any trouble with fabric sticking up because you didn't get all the way to the edge, you can always put glue under it at this point. All right, I got glue on this, is why I'm holding it like this. I try to pull my edges in because I kind of made them the exact size of the piece. Well, I tried anyway. So I'm trying to pull the glue into the middle. Make sure it's nice and flat so it won't soak through. I can't do anything about what's already soaked into the fabric. So if that happens to show through, then c'est la vie. Okay. All right. And that puts that one down. Okay. So far, so good. All right. We're going to finish this one up, guys, and then I'm probably going to let you go just because we decided that was going to overhang, right? Oh. Oh. Oh, it goes all the way to the corner. I took that off of there and forgot how I had it placed. It's also not straight at that end, so we'll just do the best we can. But anyway, so I'm going to do this one, and I've given you an example of each of the 3 kinds that she did. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get a bunch done. I don't know why I went hunting for, like, mass amounts of fabric. Although this is one of those things where I could stand down here with a box of file folders and all this fabric and go to town. I mean, you could make, nope, it's got to go this way. You could make a ton of these in a sitting. I mean, if you really sat down and put your mind to it. Now, it's going to take you a while, but you could do it. And like I said, with all this fabric down here now, might give me incentive. Uh-oh. Yikes. Oh, the other thing you can do with these, by the way, just as a fun addition, is if you have like trims and things that you wanted to put on here, it would be fun to add uh-oh. My oven sounds like it's going off, and I feel like that wasn't long enough. All right, guys, I'm going to have to take a break. I thought I was going to be able to finish it up, but I hear my oven, which means I cannot. All right, guys, I'm going to see you in a few. Well, actually, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if we can't finish this off. This was over top, I believe. Or maybe under this and over that. Now I can't remember. I know this goes down next, so let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, this is taking me a lot longer. Well, it's taking a while just because it is what it is. So Yeah, I went upstairs and the chicken was done. I heard the oven going off, and I was roasting chicken, and it was done. So we had dinner. So I ate. So, well, for you guys, it's been a couple seconds. I've actually been gone for a little while. All right, let's get this down on here. I want to make sure I cover up all the glue I put on the green. Over here, this can get covered up by. Okay. Now you can see the other fabrics through some of these. I don't mind that. I feel like it's part of the patchworkiness of it. So I'm not too concerned. Okay, now I have to decide whether this was like this. I'm pretty sure I put this down first and then stuck this over it. Yeah, I think we're going to do the plaid as the last piece. So let's get this square down. Get these threads out of here. All right, so we're going up like this. So yeah, I roasted some chicken. I actually have this recipe in a book that I have. It's for a roasted whole chicken, but I modified it to do chicken quarters, like the leg thigh attached pieces. And it turned out just the same. Well, I mean, with respect that the cooking times and everything still worked. So it turned out okay. I'm going to turn this over so my frayed edge sticks off the book. And this edge, I don't know if you remember, I've told you guys, if you've cut an edge, you can fray it. Just pull a couple threads and you can fray your edge if you don't like it being too perfectly straight or whatever. All right, let's get this. Okay, that's going to go all the way over like that. This is going to go all the way over like this. Okay, this is our last piece. I knew this was going to be a longer video. Just because I'm not saying that because of the length of the video. I'm saying that because of the length of the project. I knew this was going to take me a while. So I was expecting it to be a little bit long. All right, so we're going to hang this over so it's even with the other pieces. Hopefully I got that down and covered up all the glue. And there we have it. So there's our little patchwork quilt. I mean, our patchwork quilt. Our patchwork cover. I think this is really cute. I mean, look at that. And then you can take it up to your sewing machine and put stitches on it to add to it. The other thing I was thinking that you could do is you could take, I know I've got some sitting around here. Like you could take some trims and like stick some trims on here. I mean, how cute would it be to just throw some trims on there like that between two of the fabrics? You know what I mean? Or it could go right through the middle of a fabric. I mean, sky's the limit, guys. You can do whatever you want. But I thought it might be fun to put some trims on here. And then, you can add stitching and I don't know that I will put this trim on here. You can put laces on here. Lace would be really easy to add as you're stitching. You just get a piece of lace and lay it down there wherever you're sewing and let the sewing machine tack it to the cover. That was not the... Oh, I have a little ruffle here that's this yellow fabric that could be added when I'm decorating. I mean, it's just, patches of lace to add a little extra interest to your piece like that. you know, just all kinds of stuff, just whatever you can dream up, and you just kind of patchwork it on here. And the idea of the patchwork lends itself to more of this kind of thing. I kind of like that there. I don't know if I'm going to leave it there, but I might keep it with this just to hold on to the idea. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope you enjoyed this. This is our scruffy edge cover that I put a lining on. This was just my thought, is that I would rather line this before I glued the scruffy cover on that doesn't fold over. And then we did a hemmed one where you fold the edges around. And again, this didn't get covered because now I would then go in and cover it with something now. And maybe I would put some lace on here to stick out between the two, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you could cover this with paper or fabric, cardstock, whatever, and you're all set to go. So I hope you guys liked this look at covers. I will definitely be, well, I brought a whole ton of fabric down here, guys, and I'm loving this pack. This is probably the first one of these I've done. I tried one a while back and it didn't turn out all that great. I think I tried to sew it, not glue it. It didn't work real well, but I love the way this turned out. So thanks again, Tina. Once again, brilliant ideas, and I will see you guys tomorrow with my other nemesis. So come see and chuckle at me while I try to make, I'll give you a hint, we're making ribbon bows. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 79. Bye-bye.